All right, good morning, folks, and welcome. Continue with our mimer. Second. Okay. Excuse me. So, what we're explaining is in the study of Torah, there's different dimensions, that which we're doing now. There's a dimension of knowing what you need to know to live it, to live life properly, to live a Jewish life, right? And that's the lowest level. Another level is actually, sorry, the lowest level is it's wisdom. Higher level is that we have a bond and a connection with God. Yet a higher level is that you are into it day and night. You're into it day and night. Meaning, like it's always on your mind. You're always mindful of it. Even that, says the Rebbe, all of them have a limitation. When you learn because it's wisdom, okay, so it's limited how much the wisdom. You learn in order to connect. Also, since it's about the person and their connection, there'll be some kind of limitation. Even to learn because you are Higisa B'Yom V'Layla. There's a mitzvah to just be into Torah day and night. Even that has its boundaries and its limitations. The highest level is not to learn it for the mitzvah's sake, even though there is a mitzvah, and we're not diminishing the other levels of learning, God forbid, right? It's a mitzvah to learn in order to know. Absolutely.
Amen.
So, for example, I just made a bracha. So you need to learn Hilchos Talmud Torah. You have to learn the laws of, Hilchos Birchos Hanenim, the laws of blessings that you have pleasure over. Like a cup of coffee. So you have to learn about that. Because you have to know how to lead a life. That's true. Absolutely. And at the same time, you have to know that it's much more than just how to lead your life, but you are connected to God through the study of Torah. Well, now, that's all about you, right? You knowing, you connecting, which is wonderful. No, we're not diminishing that. It's wonderful. A higher level, it's not about you. It's about you. You're just engaged in it day and night, because it's an expression of God. It's one with God, rather, more than an expression. It's not an expression. It's one with God. So it has an infinite nature quality to it. But even that has some kind of limitation, because the mitzvah of engaging in Torah day and night, it's got halachic ramifications, halachic. Excuse me. There's a mitzvah, so therefore it's got a boundary to it, if you will. I'm learning Torah day and night. There's places you're not allowed to learn. There's times you're not allowed to learn, where you have other obligations and the like, right? But the true ultimate idea of learning Torah is something that's beyond the person. And that's called learning Torah lishma, for its own sake. And you're not learning it to know. Not that you should know, right? And we're talking about your mindset, your awareness of this deep level or profound level of Torah. You're not learning it for the connection, because then again, it's about the connection, which again, is amazing. So be it that everybody would learn on that level. No, there's something more. You're not even learning it because it's Torah that's one with God, and therefore you are, learning for day and night. Excuse me. Hi. But you're learning lishma for its own sake, for not in order to fulfill a mitzvah, but for Torah itself. And what's Torah itself? The fact that it's one with God. So, but that's for the sake of the Torah rather than for the sake of my connection to Torah. Which is, not such a easy expression. So, just to add a little more to appreciate, since the Torah is essentially something that is limitless, therefore the engagement on this level of learning is in a limitless way. It's not something that's bound by time and space. What does that mean exactly? Being that we are bound by time and space, again, it's more of a attitude rather than, it's an attitude on how you approach it. Yeah, it's not just an attitude. You'll learn it in a way. With that attitude, you'll learn Torah in a way that also has no measure to it. I just think of a story of where um, the Rebbe went to the oil of the previous Rebbe, which means he doesn't eat, right? He doesn't eat. He drinks, but doesn't eat. After coming back from the oil, he made a fabringen. I can't remember when it was. There was a fabringen. The Rebbe spoke for a few hours. Actually, you know what? No, maybe it wasn't the oil. I'm sorry. Okay, I know what it was. It was Simchas Torah. So the Rebbe's Simchas Torah. There's, you know, Simchas Torah, the davening, and then the hakafas, dancing with the Torah. Afterwards is the Rebbe's fabringen, before nightfall, and the Rebbe spoke till around midnight. So like the fabringen was about 5 hours, and then the Rebbe stood for another 4 hours, something like 4 hours, giving out from his cup, pouring from his cup. He made Havdalah, and then from the wine in his cup, he poured it into everybody's cup that passed by him, which was about something like 4 hours, like 4 o'clock in the morning. That's a pretty full day. Goes into his office, which we call Gan Eden Elyon, the higher level of Gan Eden, Garden of Eden. And rather than going home, the Rebbe goes immediately to his bookcase, takes out a book, takes out a sefer, a holy book, and he starts looking into it with great, obviously there was something that was bothering Rebbe, what he spoke about, and he wanted to look into something. I mean, I shouldn't say obvious, but there was something that the Rebbe, was the first opportunity he had to look up, because before that he didn't have, because of the fabringen and Kaisha Bracha. First opportunity just to look up something that I guess he wanted, that he needed to, for what again, I don't know what it was. And it was irrelevant, the fact, a whole day, Simchas Torah, which is, busy day, fabringen for 5 hours, standing on his feet for 4 hours afterwards, giving out wine to people. It's a pretty full day. But Torah for the Rebbe is it's Torah. So he had something obviously on his mind that he wanted to, and he looked into it, not like, like he looked into it, I don't recall how much time, but there was no limitation, there was no, okay, full day, and, we could do this tomorrow. That's really Lishma. That's, that's like without limitation. Because Torah is without limitation, and that's an attitude, and not just an attitude, but, in fact, the way the Rebbe, the connection to Torah is something that, wow. Again, this is a very profound and deep level. That's kind of learning without limitation. That for me is like one of way to bring that out. I was bothered yesterday in our Chumash and Rashi. I had a question, if you recall. Like what happened with the menorah, the candelabra? First it says make it, like hammer it out, and then it says that it'll be made on its own. So Moshe Rabbeinu threw it into, Hashem said to him, throw it into the fire. Another place, and then later it says that Moshe had a difficulty with the menorah, so God showed him how to make it, how it looks in fire. So, like, what happened? He threw it into fire? Did he show him as a fire? Did they make it? Betzalel, did he make it? So, I was bothered by the class. And why is it only the candelabra? I mean, the keruvim, the cherubs were also made from one piece of gold and hammered out. How come that was not something that was a difficulty, that was thrown into the fire? Right? So I had these questions. But I'm not on this level of learning without limitation. I just looked at it this morning, In other words, it wasn't something like, I'm going to lose sleep on this. I wasn't on such a profound, deep, that this morning I looked, I actually found one of the commentators saying, just to give over from yesterday, the Moshe first, he had a difficulty, so Hashem showed it to him, and after showing it to him, he still had a difficulty, so they said, okay, put it. So the Rebbe asked, actually, this is the commentators, like, what was the difficulty with it? Why with this he had such a difficulty, didn't know how to make it? So the Rebbe says, it's not really about it, it's about the candelabra that is a sign for the world that the Shekhinah, the Divine Presence, is in us, in the Jewish people. So how could the Divine Presence be in something physical? And specifically in the menorah that represents, that light that is going out to the world, that the world should recognize. How's it in something physical? So that's what Hashem says. You do your part. Just throw it into the fire. I'll do my part, that it should be, a God's presence in the world, even though you don't know how to, understand that. So that's, just give yourself over to it. And then maybe that fits in with what we're learning over here also. Give yourself over to Torah. Not because it's God's wisdom, not because you should, right? Not to say you don't appreciate those other things. That it's God's wisdom that you have to learn in order to know how to do mitzvahs properly, and you have to give yourself day and night over it. No, just it's His thing. Give yourself over to it, and period. And then you'll see how you become. Not even you'll see. You'll become on its own, meaning from God. Not about you. You just do your thing. Maybe it's a tie-in with the two. Anyways, good Chodesh, everybody. A bit of a abstract. We're going to tie it in with Purim tomorrow, God willing. All right. It's Rosh Chodesh, so we're going to have a longer davening. So we'll see you soon by Chumash Rashi. Thank you for joining.